A little WEM Clubman, the latest style in a little rectangular box. It's a valve unit, and it'd be interesting to see how it's evolved from the original Clubman. This is the early design, which I've looked at before, and this is what it evolved into, a much rock and roll looking black steel valve though. You see the valves inside just about, and now that had has got an 8-inch speaker. You can't see it, but inside here, when you take the back off, it's got a 12-inch speaker, so that should make a huge difference. This is WEM, of course, and the other one's Watkins, but still Charlie Watkins. You've got the CW Charlie Watkins serial number on the back. So we'll take it apart, draw out the circuit, and see what it sounds like. Taking the back off, there's not much inside except this big 12-inch speaker. I don't actually know what make this speaker is. I don't know if anyone else can tell me. The early markings on it are 16 ohms, and it's got PA on there, so I don't know. I mean, it's a PA speaker. There is a little number down there. It looks like an 084 or something. Anyway, the amp, not much to it. 2 valves, EL84, a Mullard, and an ECC83. The controls are all just bolted to this little circuit board. Mains transformer and the tiny little output transformer. And also on the capacitor, I can just see the date down the bottom. It says January 74. I can just see it down there. You can't see it. Actually, I can even see it through the grill. Anyway, I'll draw out the circuit. I doubt if there's anything wrong with it. It's obviously solid state rectification, no valve. And all the components look alright. I doubt anything will be wrong with them. Check the valves, and the only thing likely to wear out is probably the valve. And see what it sounds like with this speaker. I've checked out the amp. It's a very basic amp. I've checked some voltages. I'm running it on the Variac just to check it, but I didn't think anything would go wrong. But just checking, I've drawn the circuit out. Watkins Clubman, I looked online, apparently it's called a Mark 8, there's no way it says it's Mark 8, but this one I reckon was made in 1974 based on the date codes on the capacitor. It's got this horseshoe magnet 12-inch speaker. Don't know what make it doesn't sound great. Anyway, the circuit, just quickly for anyone interested, very basic, hardly get any more basic. The power supply, just a couple of little 1 amp diodes, supplying about 300 volts to the transformer. It says it's a 16 ohm speaker on the actual coil. Single EL84, cathode biased, 7.9 volts on there, which is about right. It's got the suppressor grid on the other side of this 1K5, which drops the voltage about 288 volts. There's another drop down to 250 volts for the preamp. These 50-50-50 microfarads, all 3 of them are in that one big orange can there, which is rated at 350 volts. Because it's only a single EL84, this is very well smoothed. You will get some buzzing. There is some buzzing. I thought with the 50 microfarad it wouldn't have buzzed, but it does. These are just bypass 1K5, 1K5, all very standard. 22 microfarad. You don't really need a capacitor that big, but I mean they put it in. Okay, it's got bass and treble. I mean, I could have made a circuit even simpler just by having a single control. Bass, treble. This is just a very ordinary circuit you see a lot of places. 200 picofarad, very trebly if you turn that just to 200 picofarad up there. They've also got a 200 picofarad across the 100k anode resistor there, probably just to cut down perhaps a little bit of radio interference or noise, just in case, off your guitar. They've got two inputs. I don't know why they bother with two. One would have been enough for this little amp. 56k. It's normal. Sometimes I don't even have resistors on these amps, you just go straight in. I mean, you could have made this even simpler. You could have gone one input straight in, single capacitor to the volume control, perhaps with just a treble cut. 10k there. Sometimes you can even do away with that, but that's really for stability. Anyway, it buzzes a little bit, and I play the guitar through it, and the speaker sounds pretty horrible on bass, even though it's 12-inch. Mid-range is okay, treble's fine. The bass, it doesn't sound very nice. I don't know whether that's because the coil is rubbing, or it's just a very cheap speaker. I could fix that buzzing. And another speaker in here would probably sound great. I might connect up another speaker and just see what it sounds like. It's very, on full volume, it's not very loud, but loud enough. So I plugged in the guitar, a Strat, just turn it up to full. I've got the bass on full as well, and treble is not fully up. The guitar, turn the volume's up full. Guitar. The bass seems to fart out a bit, especially I put it at the bass pickup. It's not good on the bass notes at all. Treble. Yeah, it's not that loud, and it's the speaker just not handling it. Turn the treble down. Yeah, it sounds horrible. Turn the treble up and the bass down. Yeah, I think the speaker spoils it. I'll connect up another speaker and see if it sounds any better. There is that buzzing. That's 100 Hertz buzz from the circuit getting through to the speaker. I've reconnected the speaker inside. I tried it with another speaker, but it was very similar. It seems to be if you turn the volume up too high, it just overloads, I think, the valve, the output valve, and then it just all sounds terrible. So keeping the volume lower, you can actually turn the bass and treble up a bit now. That's on the middle pickup. On the treble pickup, really trebly now, so makes a big difference setting the treble control. So, and on the bass pickup, still doesn't like it a lot, but it's much better. Turn the bass down a little bit. It's just a matter of keeping the bass not too big. So I mean, it's meant for home use, it's not meant for playing loud, I think, and I think it does the job quite well, as long as you just don't overload the input. It's got a good mid-range sound, it's not bad at all. So it's not too bad. It's not an expensive amp, and you know, as long as you don't expect too much out of it, I think it's all right.